Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Jackson, and I am a 3 times published author and the founder of the Writers Workspace and direct-to-author.com. I am here to talk to you about email marketing. I'm so excited for you because I know this is a wonderful time where you have just published your work with Planning People, Growing Justice, and the amazing author, Atika Tyner. And so we are really excited to be able to address this topic of email marketing with you because we think you're going to learn quite a bit about this particular marketing tool. Now, most of you may say, oh, my plans are just to use social media. I'm going to send out a few direct mail pieces. I'm going to contact a few friends. I'm going to go to the bookstores. All those things are important, but it is also important that you learn about all the digital tools that are available to you. So we want you to definitely use social media. We also want you to have a dynamic website. And we want you to utilize email marketing, which is one of my favorite tools. I am also the owner of PR Solutions, a strategic marketing company. And so I am someone who works with marketing and social media every day with my clients. And so I'm really excited to share this information with you. So I want to stop and just ask you to go get a pen and paper because we're going to spend a little time talking about email marketing. And I think you're going to learn a lot of things, and something that's going to be important for you to know is that email marketing can be very cost effective, and it can be a very good way to get your book out there. So pen and paper, we're going to get started, and I'm so excited to be with you today. So let's get started talking about this amazing topic, and I'm hoping everyone can see the screen. What we're going to do today is really focus in on email marketing and how do we utilize email marketing to promote our work. And this is so key because there are so many great things that we can do with email marketing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Once again, this is who I am. I like to put this up. I want to make sure everyone knows how to contact me if you need me. I am someone who's doing a lot of different things, but more than anything, I'm mostly excited about the opportunity to work with our authors. And so what you will see here is direct-to-author.com is a great source for you to promote your work. If you're independent, you can upload your books for free. We promote you. If you have a writing service, we can also add you to our Hire a Pro marketplace. And we do ask that you do that because we are always looking for reputable companies, reputable editors and beta readers to work with our authors. And direct-to-author.com also provides you with information, a great blog to learn about how to market your books and how to promote your work. I am also the founder of Black Writers Workspace, which is an online community. We have over 14,000 followers on Facebook, so we do invite you all to join us. This is my publishing journey, and I like to put this up because I want everyone to know I'm just like you. I'm someone who self-published 3 books. My first book, The Heart of a Man, was Vanity published in 2010. I knew absolutely nothing about publishing at the time. And so this was a wonderful opportunity because I wrote the book. I was so excited about it. And then I had this book in my hand and I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to market it. So I had to go into my marketing toolbox and figure out ways to effectively market the book, knowing that I did not have a big budget to do it. And so I learned a lot in that process. I made a lot of mistakes. I spent money I shouldn't have spent. I did things that weren't effective, but nonetheless, when I finished, I knew better. And that's what we want to do, is to always continue to grow as writers and to learn in this industry of publishing. And so by the time I published my second book, From Darkness to Night, which is a women's fiction novel, I was a lot smarter, everybody. I spent less money on things that I didn't need. I got a great editor. I was able to promote the book, to win several competitions with the book. I was able to build a dynamic website and to create direct-to-author.com and different sources that I was able to really tap into so that I can create the type of work that I can stand behind. And so that's why I'm here today, because I want to make sure that everyone has the necessary marketing tools to go out and promote your work. My final book here is a graphic novel. It's a comic book that teaches young people how to start businesses. It's called Poppy Makes Cajun Popcorn Magic. And it's all about Poppy, who is a New Orleans girl, and I live in New Orleans, and she is creating a popcorn seasoning company. I'm really excited about this work. However, once again, I had to learn how to market it, and this was a little different. So I had to tap into my educational institutions to try to get more schools involved. My nonprofits, I had to, of course, tap into directtoauthor.com because that is something that I really think has been a great source of promoting my work, and I invite everyone to be a part of that. However, I had to also understand that this whole marketing game, when it comes to writing a book, is something that's long term. And so that's why understanding all of our marketing tools is just so important. So let's talk about these marketing tools. In my last video, which you can find a link to that video on the actual channel for Planning People, Growing Justice. And you can find that information, and we're talking about branding and marketing. And so in that piece, I began down this road with all of you to talk about all the marketing tools. So very quickly, I'm going to just go over this. You've got print, broadcast, outdoor ads, and direct mail. These are all amazing tools that you can use in order to promote your book. They are a bit more expensive, but nonetheless, they can be very, very impactful. Speaking engagements, book fairs, and events, these are things that I encourage everyone to do. You need to speak, because every time I speak, I sell books. And so when people invite you to come out and talk about your book, be sure to get out of your own comfort zone if you're an introvert and go out there and speak, because that's going to help you to build your brand. Book fairs. Book fairs are excellent. There are so many being held. Pick the one that you think is going to be the ones that are going to be the best for you. We hosted one here in New Orleans. The Black Writers Workspace did in January, and we're going to do it again in May. So please continue to follow me so that you can be a part of it. And any other events that you are invited to be a part of, podcasts and all types of things that are out there. Public relations and getting a publicist. I am a PR specialist. I can tell you PR works, but it takes a lot longer. And so the goal is to write good press releases, get them out to the media, and be able to leverage those relationships. Public relations is about an organic engagement with your audience, meaning it's about you building rapport with the community and the audience that you want to feed your books to, whereas marketing is a paid initiative, meaning you're just going to pay for those ads. So they work together well, but they are different things. And however, PR can be very, very impactful for you if you write a good press release and you know how to get it out to the media. And I do encourage everyone to do that. Influencer marketing is another great tool. It's something new, in my opinion. Where it comes in at is where we're using our influencers on social media to push our books for us. And there are a lot of people out there who are considered book influencers. So go to Instagram and TikTok and put in hashtag Big Book Talk or Instagram Books on Instagram, and you will see some of these people who are just constantly talking about books, and you can communicate with them, connect with them, and ask them to promote your work. Now, this is not going to always be free, and so you know that you're going to have to pay these influencers, but if they have 50,000, 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, that's going to get you in front of a lot of people. So it may be well worth the money spent. Today, though, we're going to talk about email marketing. And this is important because it ties very well into social media marketing, which we talked about in our last video. So let's stop here and let's get the ball rolling. What is email marketing? It is a form of direct and digital marketing that uses email to promote your book and incentivize people to make purchases. So you are using a tool that you use every day, most of you, which is your email. Most of us have email addresses, Gmail accounts, or different types of accounts. And so email isn't foreign to us. This is something that we are very accustomed to. And a lot of us get quite a bit of information in our email. And you may say, yeah, I get a lot of information, maybe too much, and some of it is spam and some of it is advertising that I'm not asking for or soliciting for. However, email marketing still is very, very impactful because unlike social media, when you are using email to market your books, you are actually dropping your book directly into that individual's inbox. And the individual who receives it is going to click in it to open it, know who you are, want to support you, or they're not going to click in it at all because they may not know who you are. So nonetheless, I look at it like a 50-50 chance to get someone to open and act. And that's what we want them to do, is to open that email, to read the email, and to act. And the action that we're looking for when we do email marketing is to purchase the book or to inquire about the book. So we're going to talk today about a bunch of different things that we can do using email. And what I love about this, once again, is that email is not expensive. Everybody's got one. So it's not like you have to go out and, create an ad for a commercial, that the development of the ad itself may cost you $2,500, and you've got to place it on a TV network, and that may be another $2,500. That's not what we're doing here. We're looking at a very effective way using a tool that we use every single day. So some of the action items that we're going to be talking about, some of the things you need to do, and this is where I want you to either take your phone out and click this page so that you can have this in your file, or definitely I want you to write these action items down. One, before we can get into an email marketing campaign, we need to know who we're marketing to. So this is where understanding our target audience is. Do you know who your target audience is? I want you to take a minute or two and write down who your target audience is. Tell me a little bit about them, what kind of books they like, where do they live, what kind of income do they have, how do you find them geographically, how do you find them digitally. I want you to know who your audience is. And then we're going to need to build an email database. And I know this is where it gets a little sticky, because most people say, I don't have an email database. How am I going to do email marketing? Well, you kind of do have an email database. Now it's about you getting people to opt into it, meaning you have tons of emails that are already in your email file, in your inbox. You probably have tons of business cards with email addresses on it. Everyone you know has an email address. So building this database is going to be more about you stopping and being very intentional about asking people for the rights for you to send them something. Getting them to what we call opt-in, agree to allow you to send them something. So the more people you get to agree to allow you to send them something, the less number of people you're going to have who are going to bypass your email or will report you as spam. So we want to definitely build that email database. So I don't want you to get worried about, can I do it? You have all the tools. Now it's just learning how to do it. Then we're going to talk about determining how regular email, constant contact, etc., whatever tool you want to use to disseminate your email marketing material. So if you're looking to do an e-newsletter, what should you use? Should you use Constant Contact or MailChimp? Or, there are so many different tools that you can use. If you're just going to send a regular email out to maybe some of the people that you think are what I consider stakeholders, people who can either buy your book or help you push the word out, maybe you just do it through your email and you just make something look very good and make sure that what you send out is insightful and well done and concise. Those are the tools that you can use. You can use a paid service like Constant Contact, or you can actually just send something via your email address. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Then we want to decide what type of email you want to send. And that's going to be the next couple of slides. We're going to talk about 5 different types of emails that you can send out. And these things are I say easy to do because you're writers. Okay. So I don't want you to worry about, what am I going to put in the email? You are a writer. And if you wrote a book, I promise you've got so much content in your head that you can share with people to get them engaged and wanting to know who you are, what you're doing, and about your work. But you've got to trust yourself. So we really want you to better understand the types of emails out there, not get worried about the 2 big pieces here, which is building the database and building content. You probably have the database already there. Think about it. How many email addresses do you have? Probably tons. And then you have the content because, You wrote the book. So you can break this book up into little sections and send it out and get people engaged in your work. And so that's something we're going to talk about. Another action item is that we're going to learn to promote the email campaign on social media and other digital platforms to help you build your brand. This is very important as well, because once you begin this email campaign, you want to link it to your social media efforts. So why email marketing? Email marketing helps to drive traffic to your website or your author page. Okay, that is huge. You want to use it to drive traffic to your website or your author's page, because you need that traffic. The more people you get to those pages, the quicker you can convert them to being purchasers of your book. Email marketing helps you build your brand image with your readers and potential readers. Once again, you want a brand. If you're looking to build a brand, and that's your logo, your tone, your color scheme, everything around who you are. It could be your personal brand. It could be the brand for your book. Email marketing is excellent for that purpose, and we're going to see a couple of examples. Email marketing also provides a quick call to action. Okay, call to action meaning click here to purchase. That's what a call to action is, and every good ad has a call to action. So even if you're posting on social media, if you post your book, there is somewhere in that ad they should be able to click to get to your website. So when you do an email marketing piece, the most important thing in there is that call to action. Click here, read this, learn more. Those are the things that you need to, those are the buttons that need to be in your email marketing material. So email marketing also offers an easy to analyze conversion rate. And when we talk about conversion rate, we're talking about, the number of people who are going to opening up a particular email and actually either clicking or purchasing. So social media is a great engagement tool. It can get people engaged. They get to know you, see your face, see your beautiful pictures. Also, they can hear you read if you're doing reels and videos, but they don't always convert, meaning they don't always convert to a actual book purchaser. And that's what we want to do. We want to actually get them to purchase the book. So the conversion rate is very important, because the higher the conversion rate is, the more there's a probability of you making sales. The big thing that we need to know, once again, is that we're dropping our book information into someone's inbox, and we are asking them to open, to read, to click, to act. Right? So we want to know, does the data really show that this marketing tool is impactful? Let's look at this. 99% of email users check their inbox every day. Okay? 99%, 58 of which it is done in the morning. So if you drop something at night in someone's email inbox in the morning, 58% of them are actually going to open it. 59% of millennials and 67% of Zoomers, I love that, check their email inbox on their cell phone. So what does that mean? That means that whatever you're sending out, it needs to look good on all mobile devices. And that includes your website as well. So your website needs to be mobile optimized. If it's not, you need to go back to your web developer and you need to tell them that it needs to look good and be able to be accessible on a mobile device, on a smartphone. Globally, the number of emails sent and received daily is projected to increase to 347.3 billion this year. That's how many emails are sent and received. Wow. Daily. That's amazing. According to MailChimp, the average open rate of all industries is about 21.8%, and generally 2 to 5% will hit that a good conversion rate. Now, why is that important? If you're sending out 100 emails and you only have 5 people who open those emails, now you have a 5% open rate. Okay? What you want to do is to get that open rate as high as possible. And how do you do that? You make sure that people opt in so that you can use them, or you can send them information and they know it's coming and they're willing to open it. You make sure that you keep your list clean. So if you got old email addresses, you want to definitely get rid of those. And you want to make sure that you put out some fantastic work. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So the average rate per industry, and all the industries are different, so this is going to vary, is about 21.8% open rate. Now, I shoot for a 30% open rate, but knowing and understand the data and understanding what is considered success with your emails is going to be important, because you may find that you're sending out emails and no one's opening them. You need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what is happening and why they're not opening those emails. Now we're going to look at building an email marketing strategy. What I want you to do when you're looking to build this strategy, and I hope you have your paper out, is I want you to ask yourself a couple of things. One, who is my target audience? And once you know who your target audience is, you're going to know how to find them. This is a very important piece, because if you don't know who you are targeting with your marketing efforts, then they are going to fail. And you don't want to fail at this, because this is time and money and passion. And so what you want to make sure you do is understand who is your audience. If you're writing children's books and your audience who's going to buy your children's books are going to be adults, women, let's say mothers, then you want to be able to drop those emails at a time where you think they are going to be available. If these are working mothers, then they may check their emails every morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, they're checking emails. So you may want to drop your email overnight. Or they may check their personal emails after work. So you may want to drop your email at 6 p.m. So understanding who your audience is going to be key as you decide what you're going to send and when you're going to send it. Next, we talked about this whole really, really tough thing called building an email database. This is something that's important, but it's also something that you can do all on your own. And we're going to talk about a couple of things that you can do in order to build that database. One, you can merge email addresses in your Rolodex and send an email to all of your colleagues and friends and ask them to opt in. Now, you may be saying, God, that sounds like a lot of work. Well, it's not. Pull out all your business cards, pull out, all your contacts that's actually in your particular email account, and let them know, I'm going to be starting an e-newsletter. I want to send you some things. Is it okay? And I promise you, most of them are going to say yes. And then you can put those opt-in email addresses in a spreadsheet. And every time you need to send something out, you just cut and paste either into the email, or you can add those to whatever email marketing platform like Constant Contact or MailChimp that you're using. So you can also add a pop-up offer on your homepage of your website. So this is where you are basically trying to get people to give you their email addresses. And this isn't hard as you may think as well. Sometimes it's a simple ask. So you can add a pop-up offer on your homepage. You can put an opt-in form in your navigation or footer on your homepage. You can collect emails at a brick and mortar in-person event. This is where your book fairs and different speaking events are key. Get a clipboard, add, would you like for us would you like to receive our newsletter? And most people will put their email address down for you to send them. Now, what is so key to this is if they know you're going to send it, they're going to more than likely open it. But if you're just sending things to people who did not opt in or who don't know who you are, a lot of times they're either going to bypass it or consider it spam. Add a sign up button on your social media, and that's always a good thing. And I want to give you another tip about social media. When I wrote my second book, we were at the beginning of COVID, and I decided to start the Black Writers Workspace, which is a private Facebook group. And one of the things that I did when I started the Black Writers Workspace is I added a question in order to be approved to be added to the private group. It asked, would you like to opt into our newsletter? And I have collected well over 6,000 email addresses in that way. And you can offer prizes to people if they will give you their email addresses. So don't feel like you cannot build this email database. And also, I want to make sure everyone understands that this database is essential to you building a fan base for your book. Remember, most of us, we write multiple books. And so if I write my first book and I want to sell it outside of friends and family, I have to build a fan base. And in order to do that, I need to engage with my audience, and I need to make sure they know who I am, and I need to continuously communicate with them. And that's what e-newsletters and email marketing allows you to do. So let's talk about these 5 types of emails. This is going to be great because I think what you're going to learn is that there are so many different ways that you can use email marketing. It's not just an e-newsletter. That's just one. Or a newsletter. It doesn't have to be like an electronic newsletter. It can be an actual hard copy newsletter. But there are 5 areas that we are going to focus on for this video. And then I'm hoping that you will select one or all of them to use because they're all very essential to allowing you to engage with your fans. First, we're going to talk about promotional email. This is a promotional email, allows you to focus primarily on getting the word out about your book or book events to potential customers. And let's take a look at this, what we have here. These emails can be, once again, created using templates on Constant Contact or MailChimp. You can also, if you have a website with GoDaddy or Wix or any platform that you're hosting your website on, they will also offer email marketing, whether it's paid or unpaid, and they will provide templates that you can just pop your information in. You pop your information into the template, meaning your book, your headshot, or a promotional ad. You add a button, you link it back to your website or your author's page, and then you upload your actual email database if it's not already in there. And so all you have to do is change the subject line and send it out. So we have Debbie McCumber here, and she's written a book and she wants to get everybody in her database to know about it because she knows that, once again, our goal is to get them to open, click, and purchase. So what is this? This is so simple. And look how easy her call to action is. If not for you, there's not even a lot of copy here, okay? She didn't have to write a paragraph or a blog post and add it. She didn't have to add an article or anything. This is a promotional email, so it's all about her work. She puts it in, she puts her website on here, and the buy now. That is what your call to action is. Buy now. Make this super, super easy for you. At the bottom here, which you can't see, she talks a little bit about her accolades. You know, she's a New York Times bestselling author. She wants people to know that. But this is such a clean way to do this. And this is something that all of you can do with the right assistance. These are a couple of other ideas of what your email marketing promotional emails could look like. I mean, this is the book title, Leah McKee. She talks about her release day, writes a little blurb about it. And then at the bottom, you have get it for, I think that's $8.99. And you click, you've got the book, that's it, okay? So she wants you to open, click, and act, right? And at the very bottom, there are also her social media links. Once again, we want to always link these back to social media. Now, is this hard to do? No, it's not. You are a writer, and I want to keep saying that because sometimes we underestimate what writing allows us to know. What it allows us to know is that we know how to use words to engage people, right? That's essential for the e-newsletter. We know what visual appeal is. Many of us are writing children's books with illustrators, and we're having to decide the character look and feel. We are being active in the development of our book covers. So we understand graphic design probably a little bit more than you give yourself credit for. So you get that. And you are a writer. So being able to write, 4 paragraphs is not something that's going to be difficult, because the way you're going to write this is going to be in a real conversational tone, and it's like you're writing to one individual. So if you know who you're writing it for, what segment of your target audience you're trying to appeal to, then you write it like you're writing to a friend. Hey, I'm having a release day. Would love to see you there. That's the tone that you want to give, and that's what's really appealing to our fans. And so all they have to do, open the email, click the link to purchase, and order. The next type of email we have is the e-newsletter email. And this is what I was just mentioning about being able to create the newsletter. The newsletter itself is a little bit is lengthier than your promotional emails. It is widely used, and it needs to be sent on a regular schedule. But I want to say this, it needs to be sent on a regular schedule, but if it can't be sent on a regular schedule, still send it. Okay. So if you send it Tuesday one week and Wednesday the next, it's okay. It's just a matter of that consistency helps people they're anticipating it, and that's great. But I don't want to discourage anybody from sending a newsletter if they're off a day or off a couple of hours. These emails may contain company updates, or your book updates, or your personal brand updates, events and promotional announcements, and a blog. I like to put articles into my newsletters. And so these are not books here that are being promoted, but I wanted you to kind of see the layout. Very simple. If you look at how you've got your logo at the top here. On each of these, you have a picture. This is a picture. You have a picture. You have a header, a little blurb about what you're talking about. If you're selling a product, this may be your book synopsis, a picture of your book, and this button here would be how to buy it. And then you may want to add some articles about the genre. If you're writing in sci-fi, there may be some great new sci-fi movies out. You may want to highlight those, or you may want to put a review in there, or you may want to talk about what's happening in the sci-fi industry. There's just so much content that you can add to a newsletter. The point here is it's a little bit more elaborate than just your promotional email that's only very specifically going to talk about your book. This is going to give people something to read that's beyond just your book, but it needs to still be in the same vein, or it needs to still follow your brand. Here is one that I love. I know this isn't a book, but I love this newsletter because it's very clean. This is CVS Pharmacy, and most of us know the brand CVS Pharmacy and the great little red heart. But this newsletter is very simple. And what I like about it is, once again, you have your logo at the top. You have a photo, a little blurb, and a learn more. So you're not using these newsletters to give a 500-word article or to post all those words. It needs to be very short and concise. Use your buttons. So if someone needs to learn more, you just put a learn more, click go. It goes into a more elaborate article. This is something that you can do. I love to do this with my blog. I may put a little excerpt of my blog here, the title here, and then learn more, read more. They click in, it takes them to my actual blog. This is a great communication tool, and it allows you to link, like you said, the social media with your blogs, with your articles, with your books. And so we're always looking for that way to link and to share our material over multiple platforms at once. So let's look at this. We have here, we're going to select the e-newsletter distribution service, Constant Contact, MailChimp, website service. If you're using Wix or GoDaddy or whatever platform you use to host your website, they should also offer some type of email marketing tool. We want to craft a perfect subject line. This is the first thing that people are going to see when they see your newsletter. Is going to be that subject line. It needs to grab them, and it needs to make them want to open. So a couple of things you don't want to do. You don't want to use all caps. That's not a very appealing subject line. You want to keep it under 100 characters, which is something I like to do. You want to use as many action words as you possibly can. And you want to make it, make me want to open it. You're going to tell me something that's really going to make me want to open that newsletter. Then you're going to stick with your brand specs. And that's another reason why I like CVS, is because you see the brand is red color scheme. The font needs to be consistent. The tone, we're talking about medicine, so we want to be consistent with that tone and that voice. And then the use of the icons and other graphics. So this is important that we stick to our brand specs. And then you want to make it concise. And I love all this. I want everybody to pay attention, because this is going to be significant for all of our e-news, email pieces that we create, is that we want to write with good content. We want to keep it short, make it easy to read. We're going to focus on what's important. Okay. So if your book is about domestic violence and you want to do a newsletter, then you may want to add in some articles or some data or some new studies about domestic violence. If you want to do some interviews with people who are either in your book, if it's a nonfiction book, or if it's a fiction book, you want to kind of use your characters to entice your newsletter readers to read more, please do that. You are the creator and you have just written a book. So writing a newsletter is going to be very, very easy to you once you realize that this is just another engagement tool to get your fans excited about the work. So you want to be informative, and that's key. And you want to provide a clear call to action. Like I said, sign up, create an account. These are your call to actions here. And you definitely want to do that. If you want to put them, sometimes I'll do a newsletter and I'll put my call to action at the very top, especially if I'm promoting an event. I'll hit event, sign up for the event will be right here. And then I'll promote the event in the body. You also want to invite readers to subscribe. And so invite them everywhere they are. If they're on social media, invite them. If they're going to your website, there needs to be an invitation tool. Invite them in person. Invite them when you speak. Always try to get as many people into your e-newsletter database, because they are the ones who are going to purchase your book. And if they don't purchase, or if they do purchase and read it once and they're not going to buy 3 or 4 copies, they can tell someone else. They can forward the e-newsletter to them as well. This is a look at Direct to Author, which is a company I started to help promote independent books. I also send out a weekly newsletter. And this newsletter is very similar to what you saw from CVS from a structure perspective, but I broke it up so that you can see it more clearly. But as you see, the first thing here is join directtoauthor.com. So I put my call to action at the top. This is the very first thing they see. It is a hyperlink. All they have to do is click in it and they can join Direct to Author, either as a subscriber who wants to come into the database and see the books, or as an author, or as a writing service provider, because we do have a Hire Pro initiative where we promote our service providers. This is the first graphic they see after the date. And then we just talk about different things relevant to the website. Promote your book on Direct to Author. We have a call to action here, purchase now. And then we have new book marketing tools. Once again, click to learn more. Then we have the author of the month, and we promote her. We also interview her. And if you want to see her book, you can go to view books. Now let's look at our third email type, and it is a lead nurturing email. And this is something else that you can all do. It is an email that is often automated. And this is great because a lot of our websites will send automated emails in sequence. And you have to set that up. So if you're on Wix or GoDaddy or any of these platforms, go to automated emails. And what it'll do is, if you go to the site and you go to certain pages, you can actually tell the website that if someone comes on this page and they fill out a certain form, then in 2 days or 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months, I want them to get a follow-on email. It's similar to what you see when you receive an email that says you left items in your cart. You may have gone to purchase something from an e-commerce platform or a retailer, and you put some items in your cart, but you didn't actually purchase them. So once you've added that information to the cart, it triggers the system to then send you an email maybe 24 hours later to say, hey, let me nudge you a little bit because you left some things in your cart and we really want you to purchase those things. So these are great sales tools. And I want you to learn how to use them because as an author, it's key. If someone goes to your website and they buy your book, you want to continue to communicate with them. So if you let them if they buy the book on Monday and then 4 days later they receive a letter saying, we recognize that you purchased this book and thank you so much for that purchase. I want to keep you informed on what's happening with me. Click here to subscribe to my newsletter, and then you can get their information from that. And if they fill that out, maybe in 10 days, they receive another notification that tells them, I'm going to be speaking at an event in Atlanta, would love for you to come, blah, blah, blah. So this is how you use these lead nurturing emails. It continues to communicate, connect with your audience, allows you to engage with them, and you don't have to do anything but set these up. Survey email, I think, is a great way to do it because it allows you to collect data. And it allows you to collect emails. And so what they're doing here is they're saying we're going to have a book cover reveal. And so we want to get all of our fans involved in the book cover that we select. And so it's kind of a choose the cover thing. And then at the bottom, there is a link and you can choose A, B, C, or D. But in order to do that, we've got to connect it to a form. And for me, I use Jot forms. So it'll be like select here would be your button. You click that, select here, it takes you to a Jot form. Or you can do this on Google Docs as well, create a form. And that form could be like a little survey. And it could say, provide us with your email address and your name, and you may not want a name. And then it'll say, what was your favorite cover? And they get to select A, B, C, or D. They click that. You receive notification that they have actually completed the survey. What's so great is they get to be a part of your book publishing process. But in addition to that, you get to collect their email addresses. Milestone emails are just that. When something big happens, you've got a book release, your book has been out for 2 years or 3 years, or you won an award. These are huge milestones. You want to do an email in order to commemorate that activity. So let's talk about how to maximize your email open rates, because if no one's opening your emails, then it's not going to be as impactful as you think. So we need to get them to open the email, because once again, our goal here is what? Open, click, make a purchase, right? Open, click, make a purchase. So we need to get them to first open your email. So 10 easy ways to improve your email rate. 1 is you want to keep your list fresh. 2, you want to segment your list. And what that means is that you want to make sure that the list is relevant to the audience. So if you have a constant contact, account, and it will allow you to add your email addresses and to label those email addresses. So you may say, okay, these are readers, people who are avid readers, and I've been able to collect their email address. They've purchased all of my books. They are part of my blog. They are avid readers. They are already fans. Then you may have people who have never purchased your book, but who has inquired about it. And so you have those in the database. Your database is segmented out or categorized by those labels. So you know that when you send a specific email, depending, on who it's for, you'll know which list to pull. So now you don't have your avid readers getting the same information from you as those who have never purchased any of your books. So that's what the segmenting your list is about. You want to avoid your spam filters. Sometimes that's a little hard to do. I was always told that if you use a Constant Contact or MailChimp, those items won't go in, they won't be captured by the spam filter, but that's not true. However, it is better to use a reputable service like that to send it out, because if it's constantly going to spam, then at some point you're probably going to end up getting into a little trouble with those who you're sending things to. So you don't want to aggravate anyone by sending out information to them that they did not ask for, or people who don't know you. I understand a lot of people would just kind of go guerrilla marketing style and just send out any and everything, but I do think it's best to ask if you can. If you can ask first, that's great. If they can opt in, that's what you want to do. You want to send it out at a certain time if you can, or know what your perfect timing is. You can use the A/B testing tool on a lot of these platforms that would tell you the best time for you to send it out, and they base that on how many people have opened past newsletters from you. If you send it out at 2 o'clock, is that a better time at 2 p.m. versus at 6 p.m.? Those are the types of things that you have to ask yourself, is what's the best time to send out my newsletter or my email that I'm going to get the optimum number of people, the maximum number of people to open. 5, you want to make your subject line stand out. This is so important. And what I do with my subject line sometimes for my emails that go out, I go and read other subject lines. I get so many emails, and I know most of you do too. We get them from retailers, we get them from newspapers and magazines and just random people. But I will go back through my email, my inbox, and I will look at what other people sent and what was appealing to me. And then I will try to design or create a subject line similar to that, whether it's using a word that kind of springs out at me, or if they're using emojis. I try to pay attention to what's appealing to me, so that when I'm creating my subject lines, that I am creating something that will prompt the person I'm sending it to want to open. So if you just say my book, that's not going to be as appealing as you say, and the murderer is, so keeping it fun and light and getting people to say, I want to know what's in there. Or giveaways, open for a free book, or, share your email for a discount. Those types of things will also get people to open. Write to just one person. I love that idea of writing to one person, because that goes back to what I said before. You're trying to write your content in a way that feels very conversational and that feels like you're talking to a friend. So it should not be highly technical. Writing an email for your book should not be highly technical. It should be something very laid back and very conversational, and something that feels like you're speaking directly to one individual person. We know you're speaking to many, but it needs to feel very personal. You want to write like a friend, and that goes back to what I just said as well. And you want to write amazing content every time, okay? So you don't want to bore them with the same information. You don't want it to be too long. You don't want it to be a rant. You want it to be educational and informative. And for me, it needs to be timely and relevant. So I try not to, if I use articles from other publications, a couple of things I'm going to always do is to definitely list who wrote the article and where I got it from, because that's giving, credit to the person who created it. I also try to use graphics that gives credit to the person who created the graphic or the artwork. And I make sure that my articles are not over a year old. And I try to make sure that my articles are really within the last 30 days. But sometimes the topic can be kind of, hard to find something recent. And if the topic is, if we're talking about Black writers from the 1960s, I may pull an article that's, a couple of years old that is relevant to that topic. But I really, really, really want to say, try to make things fresh and relevant and timely, so that people aren't reading about things that are 2 years old. Now, here are some of our marketing resources, email marketing resources. I want you to really find a good email platform. Whichever one works for you, works for me. These are not free all the time. There are some free tools that they offer, but I would say make a little investment into this. It is going to be well worth it, because you can only send out, like for Constant Contact, you're going to pay for how many emails or e-newsletters or emails that you want to send out. And so you want to make sure that you make a little investment so that you can reach all of the people in your database. You want to connect those databases to things like jot forms and spreadsheets and social media, and just create, have a great process for doing this. And this is not something that you do one time. I send out a newsletter every Monday. So every Monday, actually I send them out. I have my assistant will create them for the month at one time, but I have to update the database. I try to get all of those emails that bounced out of there. I want to make sure that my pictures are crisp and they look good as much as possible. I want to make sure things are timely. My articles need to be timely. And so there is work to be done if you're looking to send out something, once a month, once every 2 weeks, or once a week, even once a quarter. You have to make sure that your database is up to date and clean, and so that you're not going into spam, and so that you can hit those numbers that you want to hit. Remember, 21.8% is the average opening rate. I push for 30% open rate. And so I think you should also do that as well. For graphic design and email development, don't feel like you have to do all of this, okay? If you say, I don't want to do none of that, that sounds like work, then go to Fiverr or Thumbnail, or, tap into some of these free graphic design tools. Call a graphic artist up. You may have someone in your family who can do it for you. Don't feel like you have to do it, but I do recommend that you make some investments and get it done, because I think it's going to definitely help you grow your fan base. This is just some of the graphics that I use in my newsletter or on my social media page. These are easy to do. These were all templates. I use Adobe Spark to do my design work, but I know a lot of you use Canva. Canva works just as good. It's just cool little pictures, and you can pull these together and pop these in an email very easily. Again, everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to come to you to talk about email marketing. I, once again, love email marketing because I feel like it's something that I can do myself, and I can get the type of open rates and click rates that are desirable. We're looking to convert, and we're looking to make sales, right? We're all here to make sales. And so I do encourage you all to use email marketing. And if you need any help, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. But also, we invite everyone to add your books to directorauthor.com. And you can look at our services to see if there's anything there that we can help you to do to make sure that you are maximizing your book sales. So again, I'm Michelle Jackson. Here's my contact information. I look forward to seeing you as a part of our Black Writers Workspace, as well as directorauthor.com. I also am excited for you that you are now a published author, and I want to congratulate you. And I want to also encourage you to continue to write. Farewell.